Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to another live broadcast in the VOpreneur Facebook group. Just making sure that I got my laptop loaded up here so that I can kind of track along if any of you have any questions along the way. What I want to talk to you about is a subject that's been coming up a lot lately. So the VOpreneur group, as you know, has been created to help people with the business side of voiceover. So those of you that are trying to get started in the voiceover business, those of us who are currently working in the voiceover business, those of us who are looking to grow our voiceover business, that's what the VOpreneur group is all about. It's about supporting entrepreneurs, supporting voice actors who are entrepreneurs. And so along the way, in doing that, I have welcomed a lot of newer people into the group. And the reason that I have invited a lot of newer people into the group is because if you're going to get advice on how to get started and how to grow your voiceover business, I want to make sure that you're getting good advice. I want to make sure that you are in a community that is going to support you and a community that is going to give you legit advice, as opposed to some of the coaches and mentors that are out there who are going to give you, in my opinion, false advice, false hope, and send you on these wild goose chases of the voiceover industry that aren't necessarily a reality. There are voiceover coaches out there who will promise you six-figure incomes if you just do Fiverr, and six-figure incomes if you just do this, and six-figure incomes if you just do that. And some of them are maybe legit, some of them, in my opinion, are not legit. But the reason why I've invited so many newer people into this group is because I want you to be somewhere that's legit. And part of being legit is hitting you with the reality of what it is going to take to get started in voiceover. There are a lot of coaches and a lot of coaching companies, demo mills, as I refer to them, that will tell you that there's really nothing that you have to do. I mean, it's just talking, right? So as long as you go out and you buy your $150 USB microphone and you hook it up to your laptop, then you're ready to go. You're ready to start your voiceover career. You're ready to run your voiceover business, you know? Jump on Fiverr, jump on a casting site, find some leads, and you're ready to go. You're well on your way to earning six figures in voiceover. And there are a lot of people that are selling that narrative, a lot of coaches that sell that narrative. I am not one of those coaches that sells that narrative. And there are people that say that my opinions are biased because of the fact that I am a coach, and so, you know, I'm just saying stuff because I'm trying to get you guys to buy my coaching programs and stuff like that. The reality is that I don't encourage people to buy my programs that are just starting out. I actually don't encourage you to do some of the things that I'm teaching because you're not ready yet. And a lot of the services that I do promote, professional demos, professional coaching, stuff like that, I don't do. So I'm not making any money. I am literally just promoting this stuff to you because it's what you got to do to make it in the voiceover business. So one of the things that really drives me nuts, and I want to try to talk about it in as professional a way as possible, and I know that there are going to be some people that are going to have their feelings hurt by this, but this is real talk about getting started in the voiceover business. You don't just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to be a dentist. And so I'm going to go online and I am going to register bobthedentist.com. And I'm going to start selling my dental services. I'm going to go to the dollar store and buy a couple of those little flossy pick things and some toothbrushes, and I'm going to start my dental service. Even as I speak these words to you right now, there are some of you that are just laughing about it because you know how utterly ridiculous it sounds. You can't just wake up in the morning and decide that you want to be a dentist. In the same way, you can't just wake up in the morning and decide, I'm going to be a university science professor, and just drive down to the local university, knock on the door at the administration office and say, hey there, I decided this morning that I want to be a science professor, and I just wanted to know if you would give me a classroom that I could go ahead and go and teach in. It doesn't work that way. But for some reason, people seem to think that with voiceover, it does work that way. People seem to think that I can literally just wake up this morning and call myself a professional voice actor. The barriers to entry are a lot lower now than what they used to be. This is very true. You can go down to the corner store and buy your USB microphone And in theory, you can record voiceovers, but that does not make you a professional voiceover. And one of the things that I get frustrated about sometimes is when people come to me and say, look, I'm trying to do this as cheaply as possible. How can I become a professional voice actor without spending any money? And the point that I make, like the dentist, like the science professor, you don't just wake up one morning and choose a new profession and expect to start it later that day without some kind of investment. It just doesn't work. And again, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to sell coaching services. I'm saying this because there are people that need the reality check. If you want to do this right, that is that if you want to be professional and earn a legitimate living, if you want to work your way up to being one of those six-figure voice actors, which is absolutely possible, I have done that. If you want to do it, there are certain steps that you have to take, and there are certain investments that you have to make. And it starts with your training. If you have no background whatsoever, whether it be broadcasting, theater, whatever, and in fact, a broadcasting background can totally play against you in today's voiceover age, but if you don't have any kind of background or experience, then the very first thing that you need to do before you do anything else, the very first thing that you need to do is you need to get connected with a legitimate coach, and you need to spend some time with them. You need to do a couple of sessions reading for them and having them give you an honest assessment of your skill and your ability, where you're at, what you need to work on, how you need to improve. They're going to tell you straight up, a legit coach is going to tell you straight up if you're ready for a demo or if you're not ready for a demo. My hope is that if you've never done training, they're going to tell you that you're not ready for a demo. Yes, you are going to have, it's possible to have a certain level of natural ability and natural skill that you bring to the table, but that doesn't mean that you're ready to record a professional demo right out of the gate. So at the very least, you need to be prepared to spend several $100s on coaching sessions with legitimate coaches who are going to give you honest assessments. And I say legitimate coaches, and I emphasize that because there are a lot of people who will take your money and they'll tell you what you want to hear, which may not be what you need to hear. They'll tell you, absolutely, you're ready. Let's go do a demo. And then they'll try to sell you a demo. And they build up your hopes and dreams, but it's all false. A legit coach is not going to do that. If you need names of legitimate coaches, I am always happy to give names of legitimate coaches. I have shared them in this group before. I've shared them on my blog before. There are people that I know and trust that will give you those honest assessments. But at the very least, before you do anything else in voiceover, before you buy a microphone, before you invest in audio editing software, before you sign up for a casting site, before you spend one dime on anything else, save up a few $100s and do a couple of sessions with a legitimate voiceover coach. Somebody like an Everett Oliver, somebody like an Anganguza, somebody like Uncle Roy, somebody like J. Michael Collins. All of these people are people that I have coached with, and so I know that they are legitimate. But if you do nothing else, please, please just do that. Before you do anything, before you buy anything, before you spend money on anything, before you sign up for anything, please, a couple of sessions with a legitimate coach that is going to tell you whether or not you are ready. You cannot just wake up in the morning and be a voice actor without any kind of investment. Here's something else that you need to understand. You think that you're going to go out and you're just going to start marketing yourself. Marketing is all about making first impressions. So as you go out there and as you do your marketing, you are going to be making first impressions with every single person that you make a connection with. The leads, the prospects, the clients. You're going to make a first impression. The question is, what kind of first impression are you going to make? Obviously, you want to make the best possible first impression. But if you are not ready, if you do not have professional tools, a professional demo, professional equipment, if you do not have these things, then you are not going to make a first impression. And every bad first impression that you make is going to be almost impossible to undo later on down the road. What I'm saying is that if you come out of the gate with a really bad demo that you recorded yourself or that you had produced on Fiverr, for example, and you send that demo to 1,000 people, And then you come to me and say, I don't understand why I'm not booking. I took my demo and I marketed it to 1,000 people. And I'm using legit stories here. These are things that have happened. So somebody comes to me and says, I've sent my demo to 1,000 people and I haven't booked a single job and I'm not getting any responses and I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Usually what they're doing wrong is their demo is really bad. It's not a marketable demo. It's not a professional demo. So what you have now done is you've spent all of this time marketing to 1,000 people and making 1,000 bad first impressions. So even now, if you did go out and spend the money on legitimate training and spend the money on legitimate coaching, you still have to try to undo 1,000 bad first impressions. And that is not something that is easy to do. That is why I encourage people to wait until you are ready. Get that honest assessment of your skills. Don't just go and produce a demo and start marketing until you're ready. I often have people come to me asking about what kind of equipment should I buy. And they think that if they buy certain equipment, whether it's they buy certain audio software or buy a certain preamp or buy a certain microphone, that's all that they're going to need. And they're going to be ready to go and they're going to be ready to record voiceover. Well, what does your space sound like? Because if your space stinks, you could have a multi-$1,000 Neumann microphone, and all that multi-$1,000 Neumann microphone is going to do is going to accent how bad the space sounds that you're currently recording in. So you're working against yourself. Do not spend a dime on anything until you are ready. And if somebody is trying to tell you otherwise, and if somebody is trying to sell you something otherwise, they're probably a scam artist, a con artist, a hack, somebody who's just trying to profit off of your naivete, which gets me fired up. It makes me so mad because I see it happening to people all the time, and I don't want this stuff to happen to you. And that is why I'm just trying to give you some real, honest advice right now. I worked for a long time building up my business. I worked for a long time until I was ready to make the move to full-time. And I made a lot of mistakes. And that's one of the reasons why I teach the things that I teach now, because I did make a lot of the mistakes. And I want to be able to help you to avoid some of those mistakes. And so that's where some of this advice is coming from right now. It's coming from the mistakes that I've made. I've already done the stupid things, so now there's no reason for you to have to do the stupid things. If you get hooked up with a production company, a demo mill, a demo production company that wants to sell you a package, and they're going to tell you that it's X number of thousands of dollars or whatever it is, X number of thousands of dollars, and we're going to give you so many classes, and at the end you're going to walk away with a demo. Those are typically what I consider to be demo mills. And they are not going to give you an honest assessment of your skills. They are going to happily cash your check, laughing all the way to the bank, and they're going to record the demo for you, whether you are ready for it or not. And in a few months, you're going to get connected with somebody like me, and you're going to come to me and tell me about your demo and wonder how you can market your demo. And then I'm going to have to tell you that you wasted thousands of dollars, and it makes me upset. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. I've had sleepless nights over it before, because I hate being that guy that has to give you the bad news. I hate being that guy that has to give you the reality check, but somebody has to do it. And so that is why I avoid those places. I do not ever encourage anybody to get connected to those places, because they are not interested in you. They are not interested in your best interest. They are not interested in helping you to succeed in voiceover. They are simply interested in making a profit off of you. And they will sell you anything that you are willing to buy if they can convince you that you need it in order to succeed, whether you are ready for it or not. Those sorts of organizations are not legitimate. Those sorts of organizations take advantage of people on a daily basis. And those are the sorts of organizations that I want you to avoid. You cannot break in to voiceover and expect to not spend any money. You don't have to spend $20,000 out of the gate. I'll tell you that right now. It's not like it's going to be crazy expensive, but there are certain basic investments that you need to make if you intend to succeed in this business, because it is a business, just like if you were setting up any other kind of business for yourself. Name one business that you could get started with immediately that has a $0 startup cost. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. And if you try to do it on the cheap, you are only going to hurt yourself in the long run, because you are ultimately going to have to go back and redo everything that you have done. There are certain things that you can do more inexpensively than others. There are tools that you can use, like a Wix or a WordPress, for example, that you could use to build a website to get yourself online. But when it comes to your demo is the number one marketing tool that you have. Number one. If you have absolutely nothing else to work with, you can book work just by having a demo, but only if it's good. A demo is not something that you can do on Fiverr for a couple $100 and expect to book legitimate voiceover work off of. If you're going to get a professional demo produced, I'm going to tell you straight up, it's going to cost you a couple $1,000s. And for those of you that are immediately thinking, I can't afford that, I don't have a couple $1,000s, you're not thinking about this from a business mindset. You're thinking about this from a lack mindset. You're coming at it from the wrong perspective. I heard a really great story once, and I've used this story a lot of times with a lot of people that I've done coaching with, but it basically goes like this. If you have the opportunity to go to Las Vegas, and there's a slot machine in Las Vegas that every single time, without fail, you put in $1 and it spits out 10. What's your gambling budget going to be? And some people will say, well, I'm going to spend $100. You've missed the point. Some people say, I'll spend maybe $500 or $1,000. You've missed the point. If you can put in $1 and without fail you can collect 10 every time, your budget should be unlimited, because you've got something that is making you money. Your demo, if it's produced properly, is kind of like that slot machine. You're going to invest $2,000 into your demo so that you can book $10, $20, $50, $75,000 worth of work. It's not going to happen all at once, but it's going to get you there eventually. I invested money in my demo. I took a chance. I spent probably $5,000 on my commercial demo because I wanted to make sure that I did it right. And so I hired Uncle Roy to produce it for me. But beyond that, I flew into New Jersey and I went to his house and I recorded in his studio. And I spent the extra money to make sure that I did it right. I probably did, I don't even know, 10 or 15 hours worth of coaching with him before I made my demo. And you know what the result of that demo was? 3 different agents in less than a year. I made that investment. But I did it when I was ready. Because if I had got the demo done too soon, it wouldn't have been any good. That demo got me nominated for a Voice Arts Award. The point that I'm trying to get you to understand here is if you're saying, I can't afford to do the coaching, I can't afford to get a demo, I can't afford to do this professionally, I can't afford to spend money, then you're missing the point and you're coming at this from a wrong mindset. You need to change your mindset first. You need to understand that this is your business, that you are making an investment in your business and thereby making an investment in yourself. And if you make wise investments, those investments will produce a return. And so it's not a question of whether or not you can afford it. It's a question of what is the return going to be on this investment. If you're going to spend $35, $40, $50, $100 on a demo from Fiverr, and you're going to spend the next year marketing that demo and not generating any revenue from it, well, can you afford to waste a year of your life? Because your time has value too. But if you spend $2,000 on a demo, which maybe you have to, scrimp and save for, you got to cut back on your cable, or you got to stop eating out so much, or make some sacrifices in other areas of your life, but within a couple of months, that professional demo is booking you legitimate work, well, isn't that better than saving money and trying to do it on the cheap? I'm not trying to sell you guys demos. I'm not trying to sell you guys coaching. I'm not trying to sell you guys on expensive things. I'm trying to give you a reality check about getting into voiceover. If you talk to any successful voice actor, and by successful I mean legitimate talent that are booking legitimate work, that are making legitimate income, doing it full time, and it's their only source of income. If you talk to any legitimate voice actor, they're all going to tell you the same thing. It costs them money to get started. They spent money on coaching. They spent money on training. They spent money on education. They spent money on demos. They spent money on equipment. They made investments here and made investments there. And that's what it takes to start and run a successful business. You can't do this as a hobby and approach it as a hobby and expect it to give you a full-time income. It just doesn't work that way. And that's why I turn away more people for coaching than I accept, because my services offer no value to somebody who's not ready for them. I'm not going to take $150 from you to spend an hour with you to teach you about marketing if you don't have a demo that is marketable. I'm not going to let you buy my voiceover marketing playbook if your demo isn't ready or if you're not ready. I've refunded people money before because they purchased my program. I told them not to. I advised them that it wouldn't be worth it, but then they went ahead and made the purchase. And after I went through their demo or listened to their site or listened to some of their reads, I knew my stuff was of no value to them, and I would refund them their money and say, come back to me when you're ready. I don't want to work with you if you're not ready. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that because I'm looking out for your best interests. I want to make sure that you're in a position where you can succeed. And in order to get yourself into a position to succeed, you've got to spend a little bit of money up front on some of the other important things that are going to build the foundation. There isn't a business, a profession, a career in the world that you can wake up and just start one morning without some kind of training and some kind of investment. So that's what I want you to get from this video. That's what I want you to understand. I want you to understand that if you're new to voiceover, and if you have joined this group because you are hoping to learn how to build a voiceover business, you've come to the right place. This is a safe community where you will get legitimate advice. If you are currently working on Fiverr, I'm not going to chastise anybody for doing it. I don't think it's the best place to work, and I will tell you that. And I will do my best to tell you that in a way that is still respectful to you, because I want you to understand what your true worth is. I want you to understand the true value that you bring to the table if you have the ability to deliver the goods. Don't work for $5 when you can book that same job for $500. So I welcome all the new members into this community. I welcome people, voice actors who are new, who are starting out, who are trying to figure this all out. I want you to do things the right way. So for those of you that are watching that are in this position, for those of you that are trying to figure out how to get started in voiceover, if you're not sure where to go next, the very first thing that I want you to do before you spend a dime anywhere else is to book at least one coaching session, which will probably cost you a couple $100. Book at least one coaching session with a legitimate performance coach. Some of the names that I mentioned earlier. Again, if you want names, if you want recommendations for specific genres of voiceover, email me, message me. I'm happy to provide those to you, marc@marcscottvoiceover.com. But before you spend a dime, before you commit to anything, before you sign to anything, before you talk to anybody about producing a demo, I want you to do at least one session, 1 hour with a coach, with a performance coach, who will give you an honest assessment of your ability and tell you honestly where you are at. Yes, you are ready for a demo. No, you are not ready for a demo. Here's what I heard. Here's what we need to work on. Here is what I think that you should do. This is your next step. Whatever that case may be, that is what I want you to do. One session with one legitimate coach. If they tell you you're ready, at that point, then we can talk about demos, equipment, where to find leads. Should I join a casting site? Which casting site should I join? Am I ready to contact an agent? We can get to all of that stuff later, but it doesn't all happen overnight. It doesn't all happen because you woke up one day and decided you wanted to be a voice actor. It doesn't all happen because some con artist coach told you in a YouTube video that voiceover is really easy and it's just talking and anybody can do it if you just buy this USB microphone and this software. It doesn't work that way. And if you've been fed that load of crap, I apologize on behalf of all the voiceover coaches that are legitimate and are looking out for you. I'm sorry that you had to go through that experience. I'm sorry if you are watching this and you've been taken advantage of by a demo mill, or you've been taken advantage of by a coach who who sold you a dream and it didn't pan out. That's what this video and this real talk is about. Making sure that you do things the right way. 1 hour with one legitimate performance coach. Do that for me first. That's how you're going to get started in voiceover. That's the way that you set yourself up to succeed in this business, by taking the right steps in the right order, doing things the right way. Got more questions? Marc at marcscottvoiceover.com. You can message me. I am happy to answer them for you. I'm happy to give you coaching referrals, but this is my best advice to you. You can get there. I did it. It's just going to take some time. Do things the right way, which may be a little bit slower than you'd like, but it's going to work out so much better for you in the end. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Like the video, share the video, pass the video on. If you know other people that you think could benefit from this video, I will get it up on YouTube eventually as well. Marc at marcscottvoiceover.com if you've got more questions. If there's something that you would like to talk about in an upcoming Facebook Live, same deal. Send me a message, and I'm happy to cover that topic for you. Guys, have a fantastic evening.